basically, man, if you guys want to talk about anything of the future catalysts with AMC or disprove anything on the short thesis that's been running around for the past 6 months, just come up and talk about it.
I just want to say, the gesture Adam Aaron made, I think that's nice.
I think so too, and I was just going to bring that up, Shug. He announced today, in case nobody knows, he donated, or he's planning to donate, $1 million worth of his shares, which is about 50,000 shares of AMC, to charity. So I do know that there's some apes in the community that are a little bit upset over this, but when you look at it, it's only 0.01% of the float. And I don't know, what are your guys' thoughts? I think it's bullish. I think it's a good move. It definitely makes AA look good. What do you guys think?
I don't know, I just bought more.
People, some people are upset, because they are justified too. But we should not disrespect. If he's doing something good, I think we should all appreciate, because it makes us all look good. If he's the CEO of a company, we all, we support, so it makes us all look good. But you need to understand the frustration a lot of people go through too. Because a lot of people, they've been holding on for so long. But I think he's been really vocal for the last few times. All the noise he's making. So we need to give the man the credit where he is for what he is doing too. So.
Well, and nobody knows what he's actually gonna do.
Exactly.
Nobody knows if he's going to donate shares or sell them and then donate the cash. But let me ask you this, everybody that got overly worked up this morning and was basically insulting the man for giving out $1 million to charities that he requested us to name. If we're playing the thesis that market makers and hedges and all these people are naked shorting and there's all these synthetic shares out there, then it doesn't matter what Adam Aaron sells, because they're creating synthetic shares anyways. So I was actually pretty disappointed with some folks going after him today. I get why you do. I get why you would be worried. But think about it a little harder than just seeing Adam Aaron selling shares. There's more to it. If our thesis on the naked shorting is correct, then it doesn't matter how many shares Adam Aaron sells, because the shorts are always going to be able to get more.
Yep, and that's the thing. In the last few weeks, he has sent tweets like literally, telling shorts like this is wrong, So it's if people will start being disrespectful to him when he's doing something good, he will just stop tweeting, and even because his voice matters, man. His voice does matter, because he's the CEO, of the company that we all support. So our frustration. People's frustration is justified too, but we should not disrespect the man. There are ways to talk about things. It's just disrespect is not good. That's the only thing.
Yeah, if anything, it's a really awesome PR campaign. So I'm gonna do what the one did to me earlier and just bring him up.
Well, Vince, you got to look at it like this.
I wish I could bring him up by force.
Look at it like this. He's doing his job. We're doing our job. And he's bringing more people to look at it. And then you got Kat flying the thing over the Super Bowl, and they're going, what's that? And then you hear this CEO saying this. The people that are standing outside are going, what the hell's going on? So they start thinking about it and looking at it, and then we start growing again.
Yeah, absolutely. What's up, Juan? How you doing, man?
Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? Doing good.
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good. Getting ready to finish the day, get out of here, get home, have some fun, Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I got to cut off at 4 because I got to go see Uncharted this evening. So,
Spence, real quick, can I say something to Juan? I wanted to say yesterday, but he left,
Yeah.
I just want to say whatever you said and had, come into call yesterday, man, we, have a lot of respect for what you said, and I appreciate, what you guys had to say. And this is the thing. If we all can, come together, and it's our community, it's a one big family, and, it was beautiful, whatever you guys said. Together we can achieve anything. Nothing is impossible for us, So that's, and I go listen to you, when Spence's call's not there, I listen to you guys, you give people a chance to, speak, not like, most majority of our community is really good. Like, they don't go bash people, block people. Now, some people will always be there, you can't just, please everyone. But, I'm grateful for all of you guys that you guys let other people, from other groups and everything, because it's one big family, man. So, we appreciate you guys too.
Thank you. Look, my whole thing is the choice is yours. I mean, I hate to copy it from the movie, but that's just about it. If you're going to go down the one path, you're just going to be blinded. It's just like the nonsense just gets old after a while. The division is not what this is about. We get enough of that outside in the real world. We're all here to learn. We're all here to make changes for everybody. And the only way that happens is when we do it together. That's it. So when Hedge and I do Ape Radio at night, you're all welcome to come in, chill out, relax, have some fun. If you have questions, hey, we'll try and answer them. And if we don't know, and I'm not going to say I'm the smartest man in the world, but we will try to help get the information for you. Anybody that comes in is welcome to join us and feel safe. If anybody attacks anybody in the room, they're gone immediately at 150%. So, that's not what we're about.
That's awesome. I'm really glad to share that.
He's straight up. That's the most chill place you can go, and it's usually a smaller group, so everybody gets to talk. You say your piece, ask your questions, and nobody fucks with you.
I like that, and I'm definitely gonna, just so you know, start checking out Ape Radio. I've been in there a couple times, but definitely not enough. So I think it's really cool. I like what you just said, and yeah. So if you guys haven't in the room here, check out Ape Radio for sure. So they're doing good things.
And for me, I drive a semi truck, so I'm on the road making money and listening to you guys. And you guys don't know all these calls. You guys help a lot of people like me, because we are here sitting in a truck, not to talk to anyone, And when I listen to you guys, man, my time goes by so quick. Sometimes I don't even feel like I work, And at the same time, I'm making money, emotionally, mentally, and physically. These calls have made me a lot better, man. I can't tell you how much they have helped, So I'm very grateful to all of you guys.
We have met so many great people over the last, what we've been really dedicating to doing this, over like the last month, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And again, I mean, it's just the stories you hear, what they're going through. It ranges from everywhere. And like I said, it's, if you choose to avoid certain people for certain reasons, and if it's a valid reason, I get it. But other than that, you're selling yourself out short. And I'm glad I actually was able to come into Spencer's room yesterday. He came in this morning. We chatted for a little bit. Again, thank you for your service, my man. I appreciate that. But we had a great conversation this morning, and that's what it's about. We do a different thing than the DD. I leave that to everybody else. Our path is completely different, and that's just to get everybody to stick together on through all this. So thank you guys. I appreciate it, and rock on.
Yeah, that was a
thank you.
great room this morning, man. I really enjoyed my morning because it wasn't the same routine. So make sure you guys
why don't you stop in a little more often, Spence?
I will do.
I actually enjoy having you guys there. Okay, I just want you to know that.
Thank you.
And Jen,
I will too, 100%, guys. I support
Jen, thank you so much for that compliment. It really means a lot. It really does. Because like Hedge and I are just the one and I are here just to continue this journey to the end. And we really don't cause any problems. And I know people see it. They hear different things, but they see it for themselves and they know it's not true. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But this is a community that I'm loving. The people that come into our room, like just for a quick example, this one kid come into my room. It was just me. I just started. And he asked me if he could play music. I said, you can do whatever you want. The mic is yours. Go right ahead. I didn't know he was actually playing live music. He was singing himself. And honestly, this kid brought a tear to my eye because listening to his music, I knew he was hurt just by listening to him. And he felt so good after. And he said, thank you. I said, for what? Well, because if I sang in another group, I get kicked out. I said, listen to me. I'm going to tell you this right now. This group, you can come in here and you can sing all day long if you want. You're always welcome here. Nobody's going to kick you out. And that was it. And he came in one more time and he sang some. But you know what? That's the community we have. And I hope to see you guys all there just to hang out for a bit, whatever, because all day long, like, we get the numbers all day long. Like, do you really want to continue right into like 8, 9 o'clock? You want to continue with those numbers and the numbers that you've already seen 20 times in one day? Come on. It's time to chill out after the day, relax, then you go to bed, you wake up the next day, and you feel better. I love you guys. Thank you. I'm sorry, Spence. Sorry.
That's awesome.
Good, man.
That's, you know what, guys? That's hot. That's hot. You know what? Be sure to follow the Hedge Reaper and the One. They're doing amazing things here in our community, and they do Ape Radio, guys. Ape Radio spaces. So just, be sure to check them out.
Get lit and do fun shit.
I've created a little bit of a collection. I'm contributing. I'm making some AMC NFTs. So if I see a good one in the group, and plus the people that I know, I'm grabbing their avatars. So I'm telling you right now, you may see an NFT of yourself. So, but the thing is, I made them just for the auctions, AMC auctions only. They're not being sold. They're only being put into the auctions to be sold, to raise the money for charities. So I'm
cool.
making them.
I love it.
I'm making them, but I'm not selling them. I'm just giving them all to AMC auctions only. Okay, so check it out if you don't mind. Check it out, see what you think, and hopefully you grab one by the auction time.
The ones in my avatars are his. That's golden.
What platform is that on, Hedge?
It's on OpenSea. It's called AMC Ape Community Collections.
If you want to pin it to the nest, man, feel free. That's great.
I wish I could, bro. I don't know how.
So let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about that. So if you make a tweet on your Twitter page, you go to the share button, the arrow with the box around it, right? And then in that, you should see the spaces icon at the very top of the pop-up screen. And if you click that, it actually pins to the nest.
All right. Let me see.
You go back to your tweet, and then on your tweet, then you've got a little button over there that's share, and then that's where you'll see it.
Yeah, you gotta learn this, Hedgie, because even my 7-year-old who wants a Lambo knows how to do that. Come on now.
Your 7-year-old needs to teach everybody in this damn room.
Oh, Spencer's space. Okay. Yeah, I just did it. So it's just for auction. So if you guys like them, like after what you do with them is your choice. You sell them. But I'm not selling any, is what I'm trying to tell you. It's just for auctions to raise money. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Make me famous, man.
Thank you. We appreciate you. So
I'm still making more. It's just, it takes time. That's all.
Oh no, it totally does. I've tried making NFTs here, the last few weeks, and it's it's a learning process. It is.
It is.
It's fun.
It is. It is fun. I love it. I love art. I've always loved art, and the things that come out of my head that I put down is, I know somebody might think, oh, you're weird. It's just, that's my thought. And you don't know what that thought means though. Like when I put it on a picture, you think, oh, well, that's just a upside down horse with an angel on top. It's like, no, there's a meaning to it, but you just didn't bother to ask me what that meaning was. That's all.
I like OpenSea because once you're done with that gas fee, it's fun to make them, to just hand out. I usually make collections of 10 just to hand out in spaces for fun. And a lot of people are like, man, that was my first NFT ever. And then it leads them into learning about the market, the NFT market, which is a good thing. So
it is. It is. You're right, Spence. It is. It's fun. Like I advise everybody to explore it. It's fun. Just go in there and see what people put up there. Like a simple drawing, they'll put it up as an NFT. It's that easy. You can make anything you want. Listen, if you have a picture that nobody has, make it an NFT. Honestly.
Well,
if you got
I do have a wedding album here from a year and a half ago. Maybe
anything.
I can make something on NFTs. I don't know. Just thought.
You can make an NFT out of your whole album, honey. The whole album. You can make an NFT.
I've actually thought about it, but
just don't fund your wallet on a Friday because they're going to shut your damn debit card down, and then your credit card, and then your other credit card, because they're going to wonder what the hell's going on, and you can't call nobody to fix it until Monday, and you're broke ass.
Actually, the next NFT project, I do collections at 10. I just pinned it to the top 2. I usually just do meme NFT stuff that's relatable to the group. So if you guys see me calling out for OpenSea wallets again, make sure you drop your address to me.
I'm just curious what the kid sounded like that brought a tear to his eyes, because all I'm imagining is something like a cross between Fergie and Jesus. And if you haven't watched Step Brothers, then no one gets that joke. Man,
I get you.
That didn't even slap.
I'm just sitting here going, what the hell was that? I don't get it.
Hedge was talking about having somebody playing live music in his space the other day, which is really cool. It's fun when people do that.
Oh, he had a girl on last night that was gold. I can't remember her name, but she was damn good.
Priscilla.
Number
2. Yes, sir.
And she sang a song. I guess it reminded her of her husband, her late husband. She couldn't finish it. The poor girl, she started crying. I almost started crying. Like, that's how compassionate our room is, just so you guys know.
You're going to have to do like a Spaces Got Talent show, like once a week.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to have like a musical contest, like whatever you have. I don't care. You just play guitar, just play the guitar. If you sing and play the guitar, do it. But we're going to have a contest.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Like a little talent show. That's nice.
Yeah.
I don't have any talent, so I'll just like listen, So
give support. It's awesome. It's awesome.
But yeah, sounds like fun. I like that. It's good.
You're gonna do impressions up in there, and you're gonna get your ass kicked and buried under the fucking daisies.
What in the world? Gosh dang it! I won't get my ass kicked by doing my impressions.
This summer, this man's gonna get his ass kicked.
And you never know when
stuff.
You never know when we have Obama. You never know when we get
Obama was badass. I love you. I love you I love you. I'll buy you a Cadillac.
Yeah, I hope we get Obama back tonight. I got some calls real quick, and we'll get him back.
He got us off guard last night.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it.
We used to have a dude named. It'd be funny because if we could get Obama and then get the real Donald Trump back, this dude does a crazy Donald Trump impression. It'd be funny just to hear them go back and forth.
I forget his name. Yeah, that guy. He's good at it.
Yeah, I wish I had like my better microphone on this stuff, because you can't do it with like a computer, I guess. But unless I don't know how to do it with a computer.
Hey Spence, can you try and set that up? Trump, Trump, and we'll set up Obama.
I haven't seen him in a while, but I'll DM him and try to see if he's available. So that'd be fun.
Just see what's a good night for him, and then we'll talk to Obama, and we'll see what's happening with him.
Hey Spence.
Yeah.
You're live streaming this right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I will pin your Froggy Stonks YouTube channel to the call. So and also I wanted to remind everyone to if you're just coming in to tweet out the call.
Can you imagine after all this happens, after the squeeze, Moaz, we go to the moon. Can you imagine the fun we will all be having at one place if we all get together? Man, we might need a big, I don't know, there is no place that can fit all of us, but all kind of music and different kind of music, different kinds of music from different countries, man.
We just take over Nashville after all this. Everybody just go to Nashville, and there's like 20 bars and karaoke spots, and everybody can just drive in the street, you know. So
can you make it Austin, Texas too, just because it's closer for commute for me? If I'm being selfish.
Hell yeah, we do some
honestly,
Texas. We'll do Texas country up in there and educate everybody on country music.
Sorry,
and then
I will not go to Austin anymore.
No, you don't go to Austin.
Bro.
Austin's a freak city. All right, man, I got to bounce. Y'all do work. Do work.
Austin, unfortunately, has gotten extremely. 7th Street has just gotten horrible. So
true.
Don't go to Austin. It's the worst part of Texas.
I don't know about that, but yeah, it's getting bad.
I used to love it.
Austin's the worst place in Texas you can go. Stay the hell out of there.
Fine, we'll go to Riverwalk in San Antonio. Then we can all see the Alamo and try and find Pee Wee's bicycle in the basement. Okay, jeez.
Hell yeah, we can celebrate beating the fucking. We'll hang a Kenny G sign on the damn Alamo and rock that shit.
Poor Kenny G, man. Can you guys quit calling Ken Griffin Kenny G, please? Because that Kenny G's about to face a whole new wave of just absolute Twitter badness. The dude's just trying to.
I know, man. He's losing it. He is. The poor guy, eh?
Does anyone put
I'm Kenny G. Clips? I'm Kenny G. I'm not Ken Griffin.
It was hilarious how Gasparino keeps going to bat for Ken Griffin and is slowly but surely just becoming more wrong every time he tweets. So
someone should put like video clips of him with like Kenny G's like music as the background soundtrack.
Have y'all seen that plane tracker, the Kenny G plane tracker or something like that? That thing, that Twitter account's funny.
Yeah, that's pretty legit actually. It's just like the people who track Elon Musk. So in like 6 minutes, I'll put the president on to say what he's gonna say. If it starts getting like off track and not like important to the Russia-Ukraine thing, I'll just shut it off. We'll go back to talking.
Sounds like a really good plan, Spence.
Did you see the tweet that Gasparino put out from 2017? Muddy Waters.
Oh yeah. Shut it off.
Oh, Gasparino Charlie. One day.
Somebody called him out quick too. It's just bad. It's like, man, I wish he would just report the actual news, like straight down the middle, but it's very agenda based.
I don't think he's capable of doing that. Just not something he can do.
I mean,
short man syndrome. I have no idea. He's just not capable of doing the right thing. And he's not a journalist. He's not. No. He's just a talking head. He's a paid commentator. I'll give him that.
I don't remember what interview it was, but he was on, Fox in the afternoon. They were talking about numbers, and he starts throwing the hands in there. Well, somebody's got the numbers, and I could get back to them or whatever. But you're there to kind of report on the news. What do you mean you don't know what the numbers are?
Sources.
He's an idiot.
He is an idiot.
On Pulitzer Prize winner. Never get it. I love tweeting that out to him too every day. I'd like to let him remind him of that.
But are the hedges paying him? Are the hedges paying him or what?
Well, nobody could probably prove that, but his wife is running a company called Cobble Cord. That's not necessarily a streaming service like everybody says. It's more or less just a data collection service where you fill out a survey based on what you like to watch, and it recommends what streaming services to buy and how much they cost. It's just an ad revenue data collection company. It's really, really pathetic.
It almost sounds like a funnel for laundering money.
Right?
Oh, I tweet on that every day. 1-star Google review. Terrible service. You're the worst.
You're not Cobble Cord's 1-star Twitter account, are you?
They can't. On YouTube, they got rid of the dislike button where you can't see how many dislikes on there. I don't know.
Yeah, because they're not making money that way.
Well, no, they said it was because people were trolling and they thought they were attacking the videos certain communities would go out and like just spam the dislike button on a video no matter what.
Yeah.
But then there's like other uses for the dislike button where like if somebody was like doing like looking on a how-to video, but it was like a troll video of like what not to do, now you can't see how many dislikes it is. You'll have to actually like read the comments to make sure it's like a legit video or something like that.
I kind of think they took it away because the White House videos and the news videos with political commentators were getting like 3 to 4 times the dislikes than they were the likes, and it was ruining the algos for the MSM. It got really bad where the White House YouTube, they literally took the comment section away and then they took the dislike button away around the same time. So
yeah,
like right now
back in November.
Yeah. You can hit dislike, but it doesn't show any number count. So
right.
I think we got like 4 minutes. We'll just keep talking until I actually see him come on, and then we'll rewind it because it's usually like 5 minutes of just the press hot mic and bad words and stuff. So, but have you guys really seen any of the ape hunters around at all lately?
I don't even pay attention to it. But you know what, though, Spence? Like when Mark was talking yesterday, they were just slamming him, like slamming him hard. You know it, because it's like talking like, and then everybody else that's not important, I guess, to these people, they can talk. But when he was talking, and it happened to you too, Spence. It happened to you too. You were getting cut off too, just like Mark was. But Mark was just getting hammered as soon as he started talking. Yeah, you were slowly being pushed into it.
Our calls, we get people dropped all the time as soon as Tara and Mark come in. But as soon as Mark says anything about Schmirides or blockchain and T0, he had bad signal that time, but we've had problems in the past with our calls getting rug pulled. So not surprised at all. But, even he's saying now, he goes, you got to be out of your mind to short a company that's fundamentally improved at the rate and speed it's done it in the past 3 months, and act like it's a good play, especially after the debt refi. So
actually, Spence, I got one question for you, because we had somebody ask us this. They were asking about like new people coming in, just to go over like Hedge, what was it, like the regular stuff or just like newbie questions or
well, like a Q&A.
Right.
Because people are afraid to talk.
Right.
Oh, just literally come up. Like, we encourage everybody all the time. If you've never spoke before or you got a question, either come up and just ask it, because we're not here to like make anybody feel bad or go after anybody for not knowing or whatever. Or
He's not. Don't do that in this group. They don't do that in this group.
If you don't want to speak, you can DM somebody to have us ask the question too.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely. Or, look, if you got a question or whatnot, and you don't want to do it, whatever, I'll introduce you. Just come right up. And hey, I mean, I know sometimes people get a little nervous about this because I'm at work right now. Sorry, guys. But that's something I just wanted to mention that real quick because, you're more with that DD stuff than I am. I would actually come to you for that stuff. So, yeah. And if more people start coming up through it, maybe I'll throw an idea your way. And if you want to do like an hour thing or something like that one day during the week, just to brush up or something, maybe we'll plan on that later on. We'll down the road.
Yeah, we'll get to that for sure.
Well, I think it's always smart to go back over the base DD for new people coming in, because there's new people all the time. So.
And they're so afraid to ask, Spence. That's the problem. They even tell us they're afraid to ask. They're afraid to talk because they don't want to get kicked out. Every single person says, well, I'm afraid to get kicked out. I'm afraid to get kicked out. Like, you see how ridiculous that is?
Because it happens in other groups where people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You guys are, Spence is right. It does happen in other groups. And so people do have that fear. I mean, I've had that fear, not with you guys in particular, but that fear of, if I go in, if I'm just listening, just sitting back and listening, that I'll just get kicked out, for whatever reason, because somebody has me blocked or whatever. So it just,
It happened to my brother-in-law, Jen. He just I just convinced him to get on space calls. Okay. And then he goes into his first room and gets kicked out.
Yeah.
Because he was just sitting there listening.
Mm-hmm. I was reluctant when I heard of space calls initially. I saw them running. I saw Tara pulling them, and I was like, I don't know if I should go in. Like, what if I get called out for something or something weird happens? So it took me a few months until, I finally had the courage and went in and started listening, and then finally, the courage to go up and speak.
Jen, it's not, it's just a few people. They are the same people. And, I go to like few other calls too, and I see them, as soon as they go on those calls, they are very nice and everything. But as soon as they go there, man, all hell break loose. I mean, it's just only few people. They just go in other and they won't let you. I mean, I am blocked by people I don't even know. Like, I never even talk to the guys, man. But I'm still blocked, I'm still feeling like, I checked, I tried to click on one guy, and the next thing I'm blocked. I'm like, dude, I don't even know who you are. It's like, man, it's crazy.
You know why? Listen, I'm going to tell you why, Sugar. I'm going to tell you why you're getting blocked. You're getting blocked because you're in this room.
Exactly.
And this is the problem. Yep. Like, why are you talking bad about a room? I came in here yesterday, and then afterwards, when I left, I was talking to one. I said, tell me one fucking bad thing about this room that I heard. Tell me one bad thing. Tell me. He says, I can't tell you because there wasn't anything bad. It was a good room. I said, you're damn right it was a good room. So why are people putting them down? This is what I don't get.
It's a clout chasing contest, really, is what it is, man.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I did get kicked one time, but that was because I was trying to be funny when it wasn't appropriate. But I digress.
Well, sometimes if we have like a speaker in here that's more like in a professional base, if people are getting a little too off topic on the conversation when we have a guest speaker, I try to just drop people down from speaker, but I'll always bring you back up later. But sometimes, honestly, I accidentally hit the remove button and kick people from the spaces. It's not always on purpose, dude.
It was deserved. It was deserved. I wasn't like, I don't know. I thought it was funny.
I never remove anybody maliciously.
The only people we removed was, I think, the Lord of Flies, or Lord of what his name was.
Lord Fed.
Yeah, Lord Fed or Flies, whatever his name is.
No, you got it right. Lord of the Flies. That's what he is.
That dude, that guys, and that bunch of group. Every time and they make so many IDs. I mean, new ones. It's like, man, crazy.
They're printing them out.
That's crazy, man.
Hey, Spence, let me say this. I know that you're going to run to the call, and when you do, go ahead and just shut me up as soon as he comes on. But there was a post from somebody with an apple in their mouth and made him comment about me blocking people. And I was like, all right, actually, I only blocked you. And the funny thing is, he talks about he doesn't control this, doesn't want to control that. And my question back to him, because he's probably tuning in somehow, some way, you talk about like how perfect you are and how, you're trying to keep things safe, whatever. Hedge and I are running a room, and he DMs me and says, look, can you bring me up as a co-host? And of course, as soon as I did that, we lost a dozen or more people. And then I had to, go back out to people, this, and this. Sorry, apologize. Never going to happen again. So I flat out told him through, DM and everything else, you can't co-host anymore. Come hang out, but you can't co-host anymore. But my question to Apple Man is that if you are so for the community and you want to keep things going, you don't want to control the room. If you are a speaker, when you come into a room, you know immediately who is blocked. And if you become a co-host, you're going to get those people booted. You'd think you'd have enough dignity to say to me, if I come up to that top, I got about half of your room blocked, and as soon as I do, you're going to lose them all. That's happened to me twice. And he wants to run around Twitter saying that, he's this. It's all clout chasing. Dude,
you are so right. That's so right.
That's the guy I was not gonna say. I don't want to take his name, but you are right. It's him and few other people. Every time I see those guys go in a different calls, I go, listen, man, all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
Because they are very disrespectful. I mean, you don't like somebody, it's different. But man, they go to extent to disrespect and call people name, and like, what would you get out of all this division?
If you don't like someone, here's what you do. You can mute them, or you can, if you're following them, you can just unfollow.
Exactly. Like,
I think Vonnie had did a room, the Four Horsemen. She's a sock. I think you guys probably know who she is. But, you know, she had like a bunch of people, and she had over 700 people in that room. And I was like, that's incredible. You brought a lot of people together. That's great. What did Apple Man do? I got half that room blocked. This. Dude, screw you. That's not
always
this isn't about
negativity.
you.
Always negativity with them people, man.
I want to tell him, you need to take a break. Do yourself and this community a favor. Leave Twitter for a while. And when you realize this isn't about you and it's about this community, then come back. Other than that, you're a waste. Sorry, I don't want to bring.
I agree with the one so much here on this. He is 100%. So right. He's not here for the community. He is out here clout chasing, and you know, I don't even know. He's no good. I mean, he has all these like accounts, and he like it's nuts. It's what it is. You know, the crap.
Hey, I got something. How was everybody's day today?
Good, man.
All right, that's awesome.
Good. Yeah, that's right.
Awesome.
Let's just focus on the positive, you know. Let's not worry about what that guy does. I mean, Apple face.
Don't worry about
him. We're better than that. Yep. We're better than that, guys. Come on. We're better.
And you know what, Jen? You know what? The good always wins. Always.
Always.
The
100%.
good always wins.
Well, here's something important to know, and it's one of my favorite sayings. The bad apples always fall off the tree. So, you know.
And then I run them over with the lawnmower.
I like that. That's a good one. And I like the hedge touched on there. Very good.
I'm still sitting on the beginning shortly screen, so you guys
keep
going at it, man.
You're too funny. You're too punny, Spence. Too punny.
I got dad jokes all day, man.
So how much money did you make with that feed pics, Spence? How much money did you make so far?
Oh, the feed pics? I thought.
Yeah.
Man, I made $10, bro. I sell feet. If you guys look at the top, I pinned my new logo for my Only Frogs subscription you can go to, and I sell like my feet pics. So, gotta buy the dip.
Hey, you might want to sell the farts. You might make some more money.
I wear my golf socks, so. You think it would be a more lucrative business, but apparently the market's diluted. So, oh man, I got something to talk about. Economics. So my Culligan water guy finally dropped water off today, right? And I was like, "What's going on, man? You guys like missed for like 2 weeks?" And I seen it was a different guy, and he was all stressed out. He's like, "Man, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get the deliveries done because the employees ain't coming to work." And I was like, "Well, who are you?" He goes, "I'm the owner." I was like, "Jesus, you're delivering the water to everybody and you're the owner?" I was like, "How many employees you got?" He's like, "I got 2, and one of them didn't show up today." And he literally was like, "I'll give you $20 an hour to deliver 3 days a week." And obviously I don't think I have time to do that. But that's a $14 an hour job. They're hurting so bad for people to come to work that the owner's out there delivering. So I'll tell everybody now, man, especially if you're younger, right now you have the opportunity to go out and negotiate your pay rate at such an incredible rate for any job you want to go work. Don't wait till all this ends and they stop the government handouts. Go out and get the job you've wanted and negotiate your pay rate like now. Set yourself up for the year.
Is that why they're not working? Are they still giving those checks out?
Oh yeah, man. The state of New Mexico is giving out free rent still on grants.
Spence, you won't believe McDonald's by my house, they're paying $15 to $18 an hour, man.
Me too, dude.
And the sign-on bonuses, and they are still not finding people. The stores.
That's American dollars?
Yeah, $15 to $18 an hour. They're the sign-on bonus, and the guy was like, "Man, one day they had to shut down because they didn't the employees didn't show up, and they didn't have enough employees. They just shut it down. It's crazy."
Yeah, our folks here at the McDonald's here, they're happy as hell, man. They get like massive food perks. I think they got a $600 sign-on bonus, 15 to 18 an hour, and all the college stuff they're doing now. Those kids are happy as hell.
For McDonald's.
I started at $8, man. I started at $7.58, and I worked for that for a long time, But that's the thing, no work is small or big. If you will think, oh, I will not work till I get a $30 job, then the amount of time you are wasting, that's it ain't worth it. I started at $7-8. I was never ashamed of any work I did. I always had pride in it, and that's why I always had work. There was not a single year that I didn't had work. I always, whatever I had to do, to get by, I did it, man. I'm always have pride in whatever I do.
So what you're saying is it's really easy to get a job right now.
Oh yeah, for whatever pay you want. The Los Alamos and Sandia laboratories are foregoing degree requirements just to get people into tech positions to work. Like they're struggling right now, man.
Okay, so why don't they just take away the checks? Like, why don't they stop doing it? If there's so many employers out there that need people.
That's just it with the inflation, man. This inflation is self-produced, which is why I don't think the Fed's going to rate hike as much as everybody says, because eventually the government's going to have to go stop handing out stimulus money. They're going to have to stop it because inflation will keep going up. When they do stop it, people are going to be forced back to work to start producing again. And when it catches up, you're going to see inflation come down naturally. I think this is all just a self-inflicted inflation market doomsday bubble that they've made on purpose. So.
And Spence, that's the thing. People, those who need help, they should get help, because where I come from, there is no government aid. You work, you beg, you starve to death, or you steal. There is no help. But people, those who need help, they should get help. But when you get used to do nothing, then man, it's very hard to get up and do something, and that's what, people, those who need help, they should get help, there is no doubt about it. But when when you start taking the advantage of the system, that's not that, that's not right. And, I don't know, but politicians, they are making people so dependent on them, which is, I don't know whether it's for the votes or what they're creating a dependency. And, it's not going to be good for anyone, I don't know. Like you said, they've given so much money, but man, I don't know where they're going to get all that money back from.
Well, they're going to have to naturally raise taxes, and prices of consumer goods are going to go up exponentially, which everybody has seen. Pack of pork chops is like $7 now, man. It's crazy. But what they're doing inadvertently is finally they're getting consumers to open their eyes up and realize, I don't need all this stuff. You know what I mean? All these random people are spending less money on stuff and more money on necessity because they see what's happening with the price of gas and fuel. But as soon as they cut off government stimulus money, as soon as it's cut off, people are going to flood back into the labor force 100% all at once. That's why I'm saying right now, while things are easy for you, if you're looking for a job or you have a job, go out and renegotiate your pay or look for the job you've always wanted. It's an opportunity of a lifetime right now.
And some workplaces too are offering free tuition.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something worth considering too when job hunting.
Yeah, when you're talking about switching from needs and wants and stuff like that, even though that my daughter still wants a Lambo.
No, I don't.
Okay, she's actually here right now.
That's so cute.
What do you want?
A Tesla.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cybertruck.
Can you have her say AMC to the moon?
Yeah. Can you say AMC to the moon? What? All right. Apparently she's not a puppet right now.
I'd have my daughter come on, but she's actually napping right now.
If I give you candy, will you say it? Will you say it for the candy? Nope. Tough crowd today. Sorry, guys.
That's so funny. Yeah, normally candy does work. I mean, I've never bribed Anya with candy. What am I talking about? Okay.
She doesn't get the iPad now, so she doesn't get to play with that right now. Maybe she'll say it if I say she can get the iPad.
I'll bring Anya on in a little bit. She's, like I said, she's napping, so she loves telling everyone on the call AMC the moon.
Just say it.
Say it. No. Say it.
I don't condone punishing your kids for not saying what you want them to say, but this is recorded, so I'm not saying what I want to say. I'm just kidding.
This 16-minute late press conference is a little concerning.
Yeah, they probably don't know what to say.
Biden walked into the wrong hallway. He's lost.
Dude, I mean, I don't no disrespect to him, but man, it's at his age, man, it's tough. I mean, I don't know. It's just crazy, man. Being that old of a president to have it's crazy. We need some young bloods, man. All these old people are like senators, congressmen, all these people. Everybody is like, I mean, no disrespect, but man, we need some young people and those who can, willing to take risks, make change. And 80-year-old, 70-year-old, 30, 40 years in the offices. That's the problem with our system right now.
They need an age cap, that's for sure.
Yeah. We can't have people older than dirt. No, forget it. That's no good anymore. No more.
Immortals
Get rid of the
running
term
the country.
career politician. That's so maddening. How much money they go in starting with it, and then how they end up like with millions, close to billions when they're done with it is insane.
And legacy family politics is a big problem too. Yeah. I hate seeing 6 generations of kids who have all been in Congress and they all do the same thing. So
on both sides,
you know what? We need a president. Oh, sorry, Brandon. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just saying it happens on both sides. I'm not trying to say bias on one or the other, but it happens on both
absolutely.
sides.
What we need is a president with the attitude that Obama had, the energy that he had, and then with different tactics, though. But that's what we need. Somebody that's down to earth, that captured millions of people. Okay? I know there's a lot of people that hate him, but there's millions of people that love him. Why? Because of his attitude, the way he spoke to people.
Can you imagine, though, getting a young guy and they skim through their tweets and they find, like, homophobic tweets and racist tweets? We won't have a young president ever. Did you see about the freaking girl who fell, the Matthew Stafford thing?
I didn't. No.
Okay, so apparently at the Rams parade, Matthew Stafford and his wife were standing there, and this photographer girl like fell off the stage and like broke her back, and like Matthew Stafford just turns and walks away immediately. So then the media for the day was blasting Matthew Stafford for like walking away in the fashion that he did, and then all of a sudden tweets from her and her Twitter account got deleted, finding of her like saying like the N-word and like other homophobic stuff, and now they're all like turning on the girl who like fell. It's just insane, like the public discourse of how fast it goes from like blasting one to like all of a sudden condemning the other.
Well, that's, with Adam Aaron's tweet this morning and everybody immediately I woke up and saw he was donating $1 million to charity because, and officially naming the investors like, hey, I benefited, so now we need to do something for you guys and some charities. Everybody just immediately, why are you selling more fucking shares? Oh my God. And they don't even know the process of gifting shares. Nobody even hit on that. And then the fact, instead of just naming a charity, be like, hey, this is concerning, but here's a charity since you're going to do it anyways. It was just really disheartening to see the community get into that. When he was just selling shares and people were going after him, okay, whatever, that's business. But when you have the opportunity to move some money into something good based on a donation, regardless of the benefits to him, just be cool about it, man. Don't give Gasparino anything more to attack the community over. I don't know if this is going to start or not. Hopefully we didn't have some kind of incident at the White House or something.
His life alert button got pushed while he was, never mind, I'm just kidding. I'm not even going to go there.
That was like my question. Did this actually happen yet? Good afternoon, everybody.
Say it again, man. You're kind of low volume.
Oh, my bad. I'm kind of driving. Good afternoon, by the way. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to say, did this old man speak yet?
No, it's still sitting here on my screen. I got the official White House thing up. It says live, and it just says, we will begin shortly. And it's playing. I've even refreshed it.
Here's a great example of terrible news. I was under the impression that Russian forces were returning to permanent bases. Was it Tuesday?
Yeah.
Now we still have a crisis on our hands.
See, it's just for it to just pop up immediately after COVID restrictions are dropped during a big time financial investigation on the market is just really sus to me. None of the news is matching up with what's actually, everybody's contradicting each other. And especially after the Durham probe, man, when the Durham probe started making accusations, this all got really hot and heavy and heated because the Ukrainian government knows a lot about what is going on with the U.S. right now and who's involved in what and certain things. So I'm not surprised this is all happening, but I still think it's being overplayed. It's over exaggerated. Russia's been on the border of Ukraine for a long time. Maybe not in this volume, but they've always had positions.
Oh yeah, but I don't know, like Putin might be trying to get a little bit of revenge of what happened in 93 and 94.
Oh yeah. Well, look at
that's the former head of the East German division of the KGB. It's on moron heading the Russian armed forces right there.
Look at the leverage that he has on the U.S. government right now in other parts of the world. He can use it all for political standing and economic power plays. You know what I mean? So,
what's most intriguing is personally, my humble opinion, I consider him to be the richest man in the world because he controls the richest people in Russia. But I what the fuck do I know?
Let me check a different news channel just in case.
Is Biden like taking a nap? Like, what crisis means something big, right? Wake up, old man.
Yeah, the fact that they can't start a press conference on time really is, it's not.
Yeah, this is a little late. Wow, 23 minutes now.
He's sleeping.
Must be their first day. Must be the first day on the job with this press officer.
See somebody over there like poking at him. Wake up! Come on! You have 5 more minutes. No, come on! You gotta come on! You gotta get on the air.
Excuse me, sir. Can you wake up?
Hey guys, I wanted to weigh in on a couple of things.
Yeah, man, go for it.
Yeah, so the first thing is on Aaron's 1 million shares offering for a charity. I think that's a fantastic effort. I applaud the man. I think it's really good. My only thing is that he's got millions and millions, right? And the timing is just this for the sell purpose of it all. I mean, if you really want to support and reward your retail crowd, I feel like it would be a better pill for us to swallow if it was just money out of his own pocket. It will be regardless. But if he takes the money that he already has, as opposed to selling 1 million shares to, still achieve the same end state, it's just easier for us. And again, I'm not bashing him. I'm just saying, hey, do us a favor. Please don't sell those shares. It's just something else.
I hear that. You're saying, his own money out of his pocket, not AMC shares. I don't know, guys. What do you think of what Andy said?
I think it's a good tax play for him personally. I think donating $1 million is going to help him during tax season. But I'm also wondering if there's something going on with the number of shares that he currently has owned or he's going to redeem, because he still has what, like 2.15 million AMC shares available to him.
Right.
Yeah, something to that effect.
So if this thing does squeeze off and he's sitting there holding 2.5 million shares and he's suddenly $1 billion up, everybody's going to go after him like, hey, you made this thing squeeze on purpose and blah, blah, blah. Who really knows, man? But I still stand by my thoughts that him selling shares does not have as big of an effect on the stock as everybody thinks, if our theory is still that there's naked shorts out there. Because the synthetic share printer, whether he buys or holds or sells, is still going to keep printing, right?
Oh, yeah.
I agree. And the fact that he was honest and he announced to everyone. So I think that says something. And fact too that he says that he's donating the money not the money, the stocks that he sells of his to charity, which I think that's a pretty amazing thing, and that's a good thing.
I also think when he donates those, and if when this does squeeze, whoever holds those is gonna have, life-changing money along with everybody else. But that $1 million worth of shares exponentially grows.
Yeah, and check this, guys. I think a lot of his little cryptic tweets are just telling everybody, Q4 is going to smash. The prelim Q4 results that they put out on earnings had some really, really wide spreads on the loss numbers, and it was between like 190 million and 117 million. I think they're going to come in on Q4 extremely, extremely close to the better, to the lower end of the losses. And hopefully announce the retail popcorn kickoff with Ellen Kopagan. So, you guys, Q4 is literally March 5th, right around the corner. So anybody who's having doubts at this point in time, I would tell you've waited this long, at least try to wait the next couple weeks to hear our earnings reports,
I mean, how ironic that Netflix sold off, Roku sold off. I mean, and they want to say that streaming's the way. Obviously, people are talking with their dollars, and their dollars aren't going into Netflix and Roku.
The pandemic plays are over.
Not to mention the number of movies that are set to come out right now, just between now and July, that are going to be able to pull in hundreds of millions of dollars each, is actually very high. It's a very large number.
Minimum.
I think I posted like a bunch of them to one of my tweets, I think last night after I watched the new Uncharted movie, which I thought was amazing. There was one person in Reddit that was like, this movie wasn't great. Barely watchable. I was like, what are you talking about? Barely watchable? It's fucking stupid. But I mean, I think that this could easily pull in 500-600 million, and I have no idea how to estimate this, but I'm going off of like Spider-Man numbers and taking like the low end, like a low end estimate of like I think it could pull in 1/4 easily of what Spider-Man did, and Spider-Man did over 1.6 billion, which would imply 400 million if you were to do 25%, but I think it could do a little bit higher than that. So I said 500-600 million. I think that's a reasonable estimate for the total box office sales just for Uncharted.
Well, I'll tell you right now that all the movie theory stuff coming out about Multiverse of Madness is amazing, and I am going to go ahead and say that Multiverse is going to top Endgame and probably beat out Spider-Man. Maybe not in opening week, but over time, I think they'll clear $2.5 billion on Multiverse of Madness. It's going to be amazing. But on your Roku,
$2.5 billion? That
seems $2.5 billion.
But how much higher is that than Endgame? Because I get that it could be bigger, but at the same time, I love Doctor Strange. I think that what they're doing is great, but I wonder if it's going to have the box office draw that Endgame did, because Endgame brought together so many different Avengers.
Well, Multiverse is bringing together the entire Marvel comic book universe. You know what I mean? Galaxy. I mean, you're getting Fox, Sony, and Marvel and Disney all in the same movie. So
if Professor X is in the movie, as is suggested by the
it's his voice,
trailer,
bro.
I know it's his voice. I know it's his voice. But if he actually is in as Professor X, I think the opening weekend will be like, it would already be pretty strong. But I think that when it's confirmed, people are going to lose their fucking mind with the crossover of X-Men and the rest of the Marvel universe. But I didn't realize it was going to be that much of the Marvel universe that's all pulled in together in multiverse of madness. Yeah. I was thinking that maybe this was like a setup for a second one where there would be something bigger. But
this looks like everything, dude. Ryan Reynolds is already in the cast and credits, so pretty sure you're going to see Deadpool. He's actually in the poster. So
okay, if Deadpool is in it, I'm so fucking down. Like, I'll go watch this movie like 5 times.
And I don't even want to talk. I might be spoiling stuff for people. It's all stuff you can see in the preview if you look. But there is other characters in it that I could name right now just based on the preview. But what Justin was saying on Roku and Netflix and stuff, here's my theory on that. During the pandemic, streaming was so popular and profitable that all these new streaming services popped up, which essentially diluted the consumer base between all these different platforms. So Netflix is losing out because people are going away from Netflix and doing HBO or Peacock or Hulu, whatever, right? But nobody ever, I do not keep more than one streaming service active at a time. If there's a series I want to watch, like season 2 of Space Force just came out, I may reactivate my Netflix, right? But I've been using AMC on demand.
Season again today.
What's that?
I was catching up on the first season just a little bit ago before the call started, just so I can start season 2 tonight.
Yeah.
Oh man, I need to watch season 2. Season 1 was so good.
These hedgy shorts are so out of touch with the consumer market, which we're now not just consumers, we're the retail investment market. We're the investors and the consumers. Now we get to choose what stocks are going to do good and bad at this point, because no matter what algorithms they have, no matter what tactics they use, supply and demand as a fundamental is always going to overpower things, which we saw with the $72 price range on AMC at one point in time. So I'm telling you, you're going to watch streaming services continue to decline, and the money's going to move from that to movie theaters and bowling and roller rinks and events and
absolutely, man, because life is returning to normal. So cases are dropping, people are antsy to get out, and who wants to take your spouse out on a date to the living room to watch something streaming? And that's not fun. It's not enjoyable. You want to get away from the house, get out, have some fun, have some drinks. A lot of theaters serve cocktails. That's enjoyable, and that's what we were used to. And I think that during like the lockdown and post lockdown, when we were starting to creep out a little bit, people really it's going to take a little bit of time for the culture to adjust to your point. People are going to be leaving streaming in grows, I feel, in the coming year to really embrace entertainment again like we used to.
That's why I just rent my inflatable screen and projector, and then you have like a backyard movie. Then you're good. It's like a drive-in. I don't know. I think streaming stuff is there, but I think part of it was like, if you think about the movies that they released straight for like the streaming and the full like $30 buy, like the only model in my opinion where that works is for like family movies, because typically you're going to spend about what, $40 just for tickets. So I mean, if the movie's $30, you're already saving $10 just on tickets right there. So, and the kids can watch it and you can go do whatever else as well. The kids don't care if it's on a big screen. So I think the family model for streaming will still work, but if theaters are around, it's going to kill that off.
Yeah, I mean, it's a smaller market, I think, to your point, for the families, but some families who are price conscientious, they'll go that route. Other people will just be like, hey, let's get everybody out and go, grab some burgers, and we'll, go see a movie, let the kids have some popcorn. I'm gonna have a beer, the missus will have whatever she's gonna have, and we just disconnect and enjoy this movie.
Well, they also found a way to subscription-based movie tickets, right? I don't know if AMC is doing it, but I think Cinemark.
Yeah.
So my
Investor Connect.
We got AMC
huge.
stubs. Yeah.
So
yeah,
I mean,
AMC
now
do
you
that?
now you found a way to subscription-based going to the movies. Like, you're set.
Hey Spence, real quick, do we have an update on Biden, or do we know what's going on with that?
They're still changing his diaper and trying to get him to navigate through the White House.
Wake up, Biden. Maybe I should change the title.
They ran out of chocolate ice cream.
Gosh.
So the second thing I wanted to touch on was this Ukraine press conference. So
have his prunes first.
I'm sorry. So I'm in the military, and things have been bouncing all over the place. And without going into great detail, there's so much shit that is unraveling, and with intel coming in, by the minute, really. It's hard to say what's really going on. I mean, my clearance is at a certain point, but and again, I don't know what higher level clearance people know, but some of my friends, we worked together, and they said, yeah, it's bad. And this was like a week ago. So if you just look at how the Russian forces are arrayed on the border, if you look at military attack formations, you can pretty much draw your own conclusion. Just based off of open source information, my feeling is, yes, they are going to go. They're definitely going to invade Ukraine. They're going to attempt to bring it back into Russian control. Their big thing is they're not happy with the expanse of NATO, and they want that buffer. And they also want, the other part is they want to add to what was the former USSR. So they got Crimea, and then this, and I'm sure Moldova will be next. I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen with Lithuania and Estonia, because those both are NATO countries, but former USSR countries. But it's very interesting to see what's going to happen. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying, that they're, spinning up some more details on stuff that's coming in as far as the intelligence feed, but it could be that that's the delay. I don't know. Just food for thought.
Yeah.
All those countries definitely were former Warsaw Pact countries, and definitely Andy mentioned the three Baltics are now NATO countries and Poland. So none of those countries are considered speared by Russia. And again, Putin was the head of the KGB at the zenith of the USSR. So
I think he was a colonel.
If I was Putin and I was looking to take over Ukraine and bring it back into the territories that he controls, I wouldn't have slowly built up forces and announced it to the world. I would have blitzkrieged in, took over Ukraine within a day, and then let the world decide what to do afterwards. Because this building up forces and the escalation of force is nothing but a power play for political pressure. And if you're really going to actually take over a country, you're going to go. They would have staged prior in places that didn't look so suspicious, and they would have just shot right in and took over key points. But if they build up slowly with the threat of a looming invasion, then you get the attention of the entire political world, and you can make demands. So I'm really curious as to why he's using the tactics he's using.
So I think the ruse of the war games that they're engaged with Belarus is kind of like the cupboard. To your point, as far as the buildup of forces, the way it is, I personally feel it doesn't matter if they were a few kilometers away or where they are now. They're advancing into fighting positions now. So I think Putin knows that a lot of the NATO countries, all they're going to do is contain, because Ukraine is not a NATO country. So with that being said, if he does, I believe when he does invade Ukraine, it's just going to be a matter of containment for NATO, which is kind of shitty, but I mean, that's the reality.
A friend of mine who was also Russian, and he works with, I forget what he does in regards to building microchips for Tomahawk cruise missiles. He mentioned something earlier when the last time before Ukraine and Crimea, that last time that Putin actually had military action was, I believe, in Chechnya, and he did amass forces around Chechnya, told everybody he was going to invade at this day, and then backed out, and then 2 weeks later invaded Chechnya the same way he told everybody, but postponed it. Now, right. I don't know. This was back in the 90s when, 90s and 2000s, I believe. So I just reiterating what I was told. So I beg your pardon.
Yeah. What's fascinating to me is the U.S. at this point in time doesn't have a whole lot of leverage for him not to. I think that's what scares me more than anything. And obviously our talk is on markets today. Per the subject line here, that's, I talk a lot about looking at volume, and I look at trends in the markets, and I thought I saw that across the board just on volume alone. So yeah, you can see that uncertainty. Obviously I really, really hope for a peaceful resolution. And to, who was it? Andy, thank you for speaking. Per your comments, I just don't see what leverage we have. I really hope other.
We have none.
Yeah, we don't, but
So the leverage that I see that we did have was
to happen, right?
So it was diplomatic rhetoric, and I think that has pretty much been exhausted. Some of the comments that Putin's staff has made is alluding to the fact that they don't give a shit anymore, but they're just biding their time. And think back to like the opening ceremonies, right? Putin was with the president of China at the opening ceremonies. Nothing significant there. However, a few days later, they were spotted in public, and they were en route to a meeting together. That is unusual. So I kind of feel like, President of China is like, look, buddy, relax. I got it. We'll support you. However, they're going to do that financially or with munitions or whatever the case might be. But he doesn't want this to kick off until the Olympics are over. And that's kind of how I see that.
Hey, Jen, are you still up as a co-host? Because all I see is a blue dot. How's it going, Tara?
Hey, guys. How's it going? Hi, Andy. I don't know if I've ever gotten a chance to speak to you on one of these before.
No, you haven't. Hello. Good to meet you, sort of.
Yeah, nice to meet you. So basically, they're like, okay, let's finish the Olympics and then we'll have war, is what you're saying. So World War is postponed until the Olympics are done. Just kidding.
Well, it's not going to be World War. It's going to be a conflict into Ukraine. I don't know if you caught
China getting involved.
Yeah, no, I think that what we're going to do is we being part of NATO, is that it'll just be a form of containment so that it doesn't spill over into NATO countries.
Hey guys, I'm back. Hey Tara.
I just worry if China gets involved, we will see a world war. Like, it'll be insane.
Oh, I fully agree. It's quite scary, and it's possible. Well, just see what happens. I will say this. From my perspective, when Russia goes into Ukraine, so much attention is going to be focused there. Who's to say that China does not go full in and annexes Taiwan? Exactly. To me, the writing's on the wall. And then
China's been waiting for the opportunity, right, to invade Taiwan.
Precisely.
Yeah, they want my NVIDIA graphics cards. Pisses me off.
Does anyone remember what Taiwan used to be called before Taiwan?
Made in Taiwan?
No, Taiwan is the name of Taiwan has an actual formal name. It's called the Republic of China.
No shit.
that was leftovers of the Chinese Civil War.
Uh-huh.
Taiwan used to be called Formosa.
Well, yeah, regionally. I meant like the actual government
Republic
of
Taiwan. Republic of China.
Yeah, they were formerly the Republic of China, or the nationalist Chinese government.
Giovanni, I feel like you're always coming in here with the history lessons, man. I've only heard you talk like twice, and every time I'm like, this guy knows his history.
Actually, I know the history of Taiwan really well. I got family there. So if you guys have any question, you can ask away.
Subject matter expert.
Precisely.
Literally right from the region.
Tara, will you call the president and tell him to keep his scheduled appointments, because it's still not coming up?
Oh yeah, sorry, he's distracted. Let me get a hold of him.
Is he awake at least?
In the meantime, I invited Ken Griffin to come chat with us here. So
actually, I do want to mention that
you did, didn't you?
I just saw an ad for Elvis the movie, so I'm pretty excited about that. I don't know if anyone else.
That looks fantastic. I can't wait to see that.
Hey, I'm sorry.
If anybody didn't see Bohemian Rhapsody, I can't tell you how good it was as a movie. So I'm really expecting a lot from the Elvis movie too.
Hey, so Tara touched on Ken Griffin, right? I don't know if you guys talked about this before I joined, but has anybody talked about all the investigations with the DOJ and SEC?
Briefly, we did talk, I think, a little bit about that.
Yeah, last night we talked a little bit about it.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it'd catch up to Kenny.
I'm stoked, man. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Well, let me drop this on you. If the DOJ is asking Citadel employees, executives, I forgot what the arm company was called that they have that they're going towards, but if a market maker like Citadel, that's also trading, a broker and all that crap, if they know inside details of market corruption and they didn't report it to the SEC as a market maker, they're now complicit in that fraud. If they're side companies that are making trades and the banks they work with that are making these block trades are front running or anything, and they see that as a market maker and don't report it, they're just as guilty. So I'm interested to see what comes of all that.
Yeah, you know what's really fascinating to me, Spence.
wait, really quick, Joey, I have to make my public service announcement really fast. I'm so sorry, but I just want to remind people here, because I just remembered myself, make sure you guys tweet out the call so people see it. A lot of times they're not up at the top of Twitter for some reason. So please, 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 if you haven't done so, tweet out the call. Also, make sure you're following your lovely host, Spence, so you see future calls, and Jen, of course. I can't say host and co-host because I'm a co-host, and that's just weird. I'm sorry.
I feel the same way too. Sometimes I'm like, okay, follow your host and me and Tara or whoever else is hosting. It's like, what do I say? It's
just follow whoever the hell you want to follow, honestly. But if you can, do us a favor and tweet out the call. That'd be great. Okay, I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry, Joey. Go.
Oh, I have to talk so fast now with that go. Yeah, absolutely.
Hi, Joey.
Share the call. I'm about to. Anyway, what's up, Tara? What was I even talking about? Oh, but I wanted to talk a little bit about what we were just referencing with Citadel Securities. What's fascinating to me, and plenty of other companies have done this, if you just want to talk corporate America, they can hide behind guises of separate entities, right? And declare that, one doesn't speak to each other. I'll just use the example of working at LinkedIn. LinkedIn is 100% wholly owned by Microsoft. So if any type of controversy were to happen, I'm not saying anything has, by the way, I'm just using a very direct example. Microsoft can definitely claim they had no idea of any wrongdoing, so on and so forth. And there's no way on earth anyone would believe that, right? And that goes for Citadel Securities. They have Citadel Connect. Like, there's no way, which obviously we don't have hard in the lines proof that nefarious activity is happening with Citadel Connect, but no shit there is, and they know about it. So the DOJ is absolutely going to bring the hammer down, and I am beyond excited.
Totally.
It's going to take a while, though. It's going to
totally
take a while.
Agree, brother. I'd throw up 100, but they took it away. So
Purple hearts for Terra.
The only scary thing would be is if they find a
How
way
rude.
to like. the only way that would be scary is if they find a way to like pin this on an individual or freaking minimize some sort of subsidiary or something like that, and it's like not as big of a hit to the players at hand, which would suck.
Well, I think at this point in time, the DOJ has realized that the fraud in the market is actually affecting national security measures, because the economic impact that this is going to have and is having right now is extremely, it's very serious. Putin's not stupid. He sees the economic problems that we're facing right now, and Ukraine is a very important chess square on the game board. So
absolutely, Spence. My stepdad's on his way here to help me with this new house, but nonetheless, I wanted to actually touch on that really quick. If you look actually at Bitcoin specifically and buying the dip, so to speak, and where it's being bought per geographic region, Russia has scooped up a lot of Bitcoin in the last few days. And furthermore, if you look at inflation, we're essentially forced to put sanctions on Russia if they were, which looks likely, to invade Ukraine, which furthermore will push our inflation numbers up. So we, again, talking about leverage, there's not a whole lot we have, and it's really scary to us in our economy and what we're going through. But to Spence's last point, because this is two different topics, and I would love to hear this discussed because I have to just go to listen, is what Bernie spoke on yesterday. Let's just call it Congress in general. I think he was the one to touch on the topic, and it went from there. But what's fascinating is the government is finally trying to limit bad behaviors as well as bad plays made by market makers, because our economy is being directly impacted by a very, very small group of people, and that got even smaller throughout the pandemic. That was probably the biggest distribution of wealth in United States history, the pandemic, right? Through the stock exchange. So I'm fascinated what ideas, thoughts people have
Joey,
on that specifically.
They didn't actually touch on market makers. They touched on private equity, particularly BlackRock and Vanguard, and then the other company that I can't remember.
I regress, but yes.
But that's not the same as market makers. But yeah, the DOJ is also looking into the market makers now as well. You know, with Citadel, and there is a certain level of disconnection in terms of you know, like a separate entity, like a subsidiary, such as like LinkedIn, right? Because LinkedIn was acquired externally. So when you acquire an external company and bring it internal, I know this because I've gone through, I've watched like 5 or 6 acquisitions, or more through the time that I've been working at Amazon, and when one of these companies is acquired, often for quite a while, most of their stuff is completely separate because it takes a really long time to get them integrated into all the internal systems, right? So a perfect example of that is when we bought a company called Biba back, I think it was 2016. And Biba was its own product. They had their own team of everybody and all this stuff. And, you know, when the company was acquired, for the most part, all that stuff stayed fairly separate. They had their, you know, they still had their AWS accounts and all their other stuff that they were doing. And then they got slowly pulled into like code management, and they got pulled into like the internal
sorry,
infrastructure.
Brett. Hey, the president just came on. I'm going to go ahead and
Okay.
play it real quick. We'll go right back to you.
Congress, we're currently representing the United States, along with Vice President Harris at the Munich Security Conference. The second was the latest in a series of calls over the past many months with the heads of state of our NATO allies and the European Union, to bring them up to date on what the United States thinks is the current state of affairs and what's likely to happen in Ukraine in the coming days, to ensure that we continue to remain in lockstep that is the European Union and NATO. Despite Russia's efforts to divide us at home and abroad, I can affirm that has not happened. The overwhelming message of on both calls was one of unity, determination, and resolve. I shared with all of those on the calls what we know about a rapidly escalating crisis in Ukraine. Over the last few days, we've seen reports of a major uptick in violations of the ceasefire by Russian-backed fighters attempting to provoke Ukraine in the Donbass. For example, a shelling of a Ukrainian kindergarten yesterday, which Russia has falsely asserted was carried out by Ukraine. We also continue to see more and more disinformation being pushed out to the Russian public, including Russian-backed separatists, claiming that Ukraine is planning to launch a massive offensive attack in the Donbass. Well, look, there is simply no evidence of these assertions, and it defies basic logic to believe the Ukrainians would choose this moment with well over 150,000 troops arrayed on its borders to escalate a year-long conflict. Russia's state media also continues to make phony allegations of a genocide taking place in the Donbass and push fabricated claims warning about Ukraine's attack on Russia without any evidence. That's just what I'm sure Ukraine's thinking of doing, attacking Russia. All of these are consistent with the playbook the Russians have used before to set up a false justification to act against Ukraine. This is also in line with the pretext scenarios that the United States and our allies and partners have been warning about for weeks. Throughout these tense moments, the Ukrainian forces have shown great judgment and, I might add, restraint. They refused to allow the Russians to bait them into war. But the fact remains, Russian troops currently have Ukraine surrounded from Belarus along the Russian border and with Ukraine to the Black Sea in the south and all of its border. You know, look, we have reason to believe the Russian forces are planning to and intend to attack Ukraine in the coming week, in the coming days. We believe that they will target Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, a city of 2.8 million innocent people. We're calling out Russia's plans loudly and repeatedly, not because we want a conflict, but because we're doing everything in our power to remove any reason that Russia may give to justify invading Ukraine and prevent them from moving. Make no mistake, if Russia pursues its plans, it will be responsible for a catastrophic and needless war of choice. The United States and our allies are prepared to defend every inch of NATO territory from any threat to our collective security as well. We also will not send troops in to fight in Ukraine, but we will continue to support the Ukrainian people. This past year, the United States has provided a record amount of security assistance to Ukraine to bolster its defensive, $650 million from Javelin missiles to ammunition. We also previously provided $500 million in humanitarian aid and economic support for Ukraine. And earlier this week, we also announced an additional sovereign loan guarantee of up to $1 billion to strengthen Ukraine's economic resilience. But the bottom line is this: the United States and our allies and partners will support the Ukrainian people. We will hold Russia accountable for its actions. The West is united and resolved. We're ready to impose severe sanctions on Russia if it further invades Ukraine. But I say again, Russia can still choose diplomacy. It is not too late to de-escalate and return to the negotiating table. Last night, Russia agreed that Secretary of State Blinken and Foreign Minister Lavrov should meet on February 24th in Europe. But if Russia takes military action before that date, we'll be clear that they have slammed the door shut on diplomacy. They will have chosen war, and they will pay a steep price for doing so, not only from the sanctions that we and our allies will impose on Russia, but the moral outrage the rest of the world will visit upon them. You know, there are many issues that divide our nation and our world, but standing up to Russian aggression is not one of them. The American people are united. Europe is united. The transatlantic community is united. Our political parties in this country are united. The entire free world is united. Russia has a choice between war and all the suffering it will bring, or diplomacy that will make a future safer for everyone. Now, I'm happy to take a few questions. Nancy from Bloomberg.
Thank you so much, sir. Do you think that it is wise for President Zelensky to leave Ukraine if an invasion is as imminent as the U.S. says it is?
That's a judgment for him to make and a determination as to whether or not. I've spoken with Zelensky a dozen times, maybe more, I don't know. And it's in the pursuit of a diplomatic solution, it may not be it may be the wise choice, but it's his decision.
And do you have any indication about whether President Putin has made a decision on whether to invade? Do you feel confident that he hasn't made that decision already?
As of this moment, I'm convinced he's made the decision. We have reason to believe that.
There seems to be a unanimity of spirit between the United States and Europe to do some sanctions, a comprehensive sanctions, but is everyone on board with the exact same sanctions that you want to do?
Yes. There will be some slight differences, but there'll be more add-ons than subtractions.
And President Putin is going to oversee some nuclear drills this weekend. How do you see that happening? What's your reaction to that, sir? Thank you.
Well, I don't think he is remotely contemplating using nuclear weapons. But I do think I think he is focused on trying to convince the world that he has the ability to change the dynamics in Europe in a way that he cannot. But I don't, how much of it is a cover for just saying we're just doing exercises and there's more than that, I just can't, it's hard to read his mind. I'll take one.
You are convinced that President Putin is going to invade Ukraine. Is that what you just said a few moments ago?
Yes, I did. Yes.
So is diplomacy off the table then?
No. Until he does, diplomacy is always a possibility.
What reason do you have to believe he's considering that option at all?
We have a significant intelligence capability. Thank you very much.
Thank you. At all.
We have a significant intelligence capability. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, that was pretty contradictive, but I mean, did anybody else kind of take that as massively contradictive to the peaceful message he was giving? And then, I don't know.
I took it as he's speaking the truth, man. I mean, like I said, it's a matter of when, not if. And
I was going to say the same thing. I was going to ask Andy a question. Andy, do you think $600 million in Javelin missiles is enough to curb the Russian armor?
No, not at all. Absolutely not.
That's what I thought.
That's not even.
You're throwing.
Probably covers.
All you're doing is buying time.
Yeah.
And building confidence in their troops, but no, I mean, no.
When he said that, I was saying, what about a Patriot missile defense system at the same time?
Okay, I'm an air defender, so I'm very familiar with those. You can't put those in there. They're not a NATO country.
Oh, fuck.
Well, that's why they were putting so many in Poland, you guys. That's back in when was it before Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State?
How do you know that?
Oh yeah.
No, I'm asking. How do you know that?
When we were in Iraq, we were getting reports in that Russians were invading again and this and that, and they had a lot of actual Patriot missiles going into Poland during the time. I'll look up the article for it so I can give you a source. Okay. But it was all while we were deployed and serving, and then I used to work on Redstone Arsenal, so we get updates all the time too.
Yeah. So you were in the military.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. What did you do?
I was an Apache helicopter mechanic for 7 years. So
okay, so you kind of know what I'm alluding at, right?
Oh yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
We were told that Iran and Russia were going to attack us at one point when we were in Iraq because they know they had us over a barrel with political leverage. And right now, Biden can't come on TV and say, no, they're not going to invade, because as soon as he does, they will. But when he came up and said, we're going to keep the table open for communications unless they attack. But then at the end, the reporters cornered him and said, yes, we know they're going to invade. So it's kind of contradictory. But I was really interested that they chose Bloomberg first to take a question.
I don't know, man. Yeah, you're right. They did corner him, and then he came out and said yes, he believes they will attack. Again, the intel all points to that, and even open source. It's there. The writing's on the wall. There's no doubt in my mind that this is happening. And so when I was stating earlier that we're like in my unit, things are just going 100 miles an hour. And it's kind of funny. So I work at a division, an air defense division, and it was really, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. It was really mellow. And then we had a spurt where shit just started popping off and people were like, moving with the purpose. And there was a lot of information flowing, and then it just kind of mellowed out. And then, so we were like, okay, we're waiting and waiting and waiting. And then again, in the past couple of days, there was a flurry of activity. Yeah. And it's all, so that's why my gut feeling is it is happening. It's just when.
The overall message I got from that entire thing is that it's out of our control. That's what I got from it. That was just my entire take. That is now out of our control, which is obviously incredibly frightening. But that's what I got from it. That's my only take.
I got basically it's Putin's ball now.
Yeah,
we have no leverage whatsoever after invading Iraq and Afghanistan for 20 years to tell Russia to do anything in a non-NATO country. But Andy, in 2018, Poland got a bunch of Raytheon missile systems that they use to bolster their Wisla because they're medium range. So
right.
Yeah, I agree with you, Joey. Where'd Joey go? Joey dropped out.
Spence, I'm sorry. Can I say something?
I don't know. Yeah, go for
it. The scariest thing out of the speech to me was the freaking date that he just threw out of nowhere, like the 24th.
Yeah. A day or a week, who knows?
Yeah, he's like, oh, the 24th meeting is supposed to take place, and we'll see if they attack before that or not, and if they do. That the dates always are scary to me. That's why I hate dates. No dates, no prizes.
Well, at this,
same with the apes. No dates, just buy and hodl.
First it was Tuesday, then it was Wednesday, then it was Thursday, then it was Friday, then it's this weekend, and they just keep moving it because they don't know. They need to come out and say they're on the border. It looks like they have intent of invading, but we don't have intelligence on it at this point in time. Giving out dates and numbers like that in a briefing to the American public just creates fear, and it's not. It doesn't help anything whatsoever. But if Russia does invade without NATO support, Ukraine stands little to no chance. And I don't see a big conflict happening over it. It's either Russia's going to roll in and take over, or they're not. So the threats from Biden on, we're giving them money to help support, it doesn't mean anything.
I mean, it's what we can do. I mean, we're doing something. It's a hell of a lot better than just sitting back on our asses and just saying, "I wish we could help you, but you're not part of NATO." I mean, and with that being said, I think other countries will do the same. Now, what's going to be interesting is that if anything collateral enters into a NATO country.
Yeah.
Because at that point, then NATO can take action.
But that's the problem. That's how most major wars start, like Vietnam and World War II and such. It's always some type, even if the Russians don't attack any part of NATO, if some type of insurgency pops up and they decide to go blow up a bus or a vehicle or something that America or another country assumes, then we have a problem. That's why all these threats are just, they're no bueno.
No bueno.
Guys, NATO is not what it used to be. It's not because you attack a NATO country that the other NATO members are going to intervene. We've seen conflicts over the last 10 years between, or almost conflicts between NATO nations and non-NATO nations, and the other NATO countries didn't get involved. It doesn't mean anything. It's just not. If we saw what happened in 2004 between Spain and Morocco, for example, where the borderline got into a military conflict. Spain being a NATO country, and none of it was quite the opposite actually. France supported Morocco. The United States supported Morocco indirectly, even though Spain is an EU nation and a main partner of the United States. You just never know, and it does. Russia could strike tomorrow a NATO country, and I would not be able to imagine all of NATO intervening. It would be World War III. It's just not, anything that's gonna draw a direct conflict between the United States and Russia is just not gonna happen.
I agree with you, Omar. NATO is definitely not what it used to be, especially with the leadership fallouts that we've had lately and COVID. Canada, France, Australia, America, they've all had problems with citizens starting to stand up and rise up. So they have their own internal domestic disputes going on right now too. But after Iraq, after a global conflict for 20 freaking years, all these countries are done with it, man. They just don't. If anything, if Russia goes into Ukraine and contains there, they will immediately just set up base and chill the fuck out. And then nothing will happen outside in any NATO countries. This whole thing just sounds, it sounds so cyclic. Like the same situation keeps happening over and over again every 10 years. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Trump said it well. There's no point of having NATO anymore. It just doesn't serve any purpose. It's costing American taxpayer dollars, billions of dollars every year. We're financing that organization. The Europeans are sitting on their asses, enjoying the protection that it gives them. They're enjoying, free weapons and access to, like, for example, countries like Poland is enjoying access to weapons that are extremely advanced for, pennies on the dollar. And the United States is not even taking any, it's not benefiting from it at all. It's a joke.
I agree with that, man.
Well, historically, we kind of needed Poland, and from the past, when you wanted to curb the Soviet advance into Europe from the first start of the Reds, Poland was necessary to be used. So Poland is a pretty good bulwark between Russia and Central, Western Europe.
And I will go back again to what Donald Trump said. Why do we need anyone? We don't need anyone. We can be. We need to stop playing the police of the world. That's it. We need to keep our money here, invest it in our country, invest in our economy. Invest in our economy. Stop giving this. You know how much billions and billions and billions of dollars are going out every year just in donations to Middle Eastern countries. For what? For nothing. For influence. Then they turn around and get the same amount of money from Russia.
He wasn't right on that, bro. I mean, at the end of the day, we do need that. Now, if it was just the United States, I can understand what you said. But we have NATO for a reason. For World War III or the Second War wouldn't happen like that again. So it's important for us to have it, regardless of how much money we're spending. One country can get into it. I promise you, we will have a lot more wars in this world if we didn't have NATO. So I totally disagree with you about that.
With all due respect, with all due respect, if there was to be a World War III involving Russia and the United States, it's not going to be played with tanks and aircrafts and bullets. It's going to be much bigger than that.
That's what I was just going to say. Yeah. We're never going to see a war like we saw with World War I or World War II. World War III is probably already being fought, and it's
in the metaverse.
The old adage used to be is World War III would basically initiate this. The Fourth World War would basically guarantee you all would all fight with sticks and stones.
Well, all I'm saying is this: that Trump didn't know what the freak he was doing. I'm not trying to get political with nobody, but I'm actually kind of happy I don't have to live on the edge of my seat every single day. Rather, we're gonna live or die or something like that. So
You're very directly taking one political side, and
I'm definitely not. I'm really only here like I love crypto. I'm interested to see what happens with the markets and stuff like that. I think this is probably just a lot of fluff that they kind of did the last time, but they did go in and what was it? I want to say it wasn't. It was I forgot the name of the country in the Ukraine, the name of the city. They did go in the last time, but it was something.
Crimea.
Yeah, it was something real small. I think this is just like a lot of bluff. As far as we know, they can probably just try to get the markets down so they can buy in at a cheap price and then pull everything back. Who knows?
I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm
one of
sorry.
those people that always
if
thinks
you guys
it's
believe in
always
any one
smoke and
man or
mirrors. Like they're gonna
right?
always basically use one crisis or one event while they're doing something behind the scenes that we're completely unaware of. So I truly do believe that it's look at this, look what they're doing while we're doing something completely different. So just keep your eyes open. But I don't know. I have my concerns that our media is blowing things out of proportion big time, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, to believe that anything is gonna happen with Russia and Ukraine, you really gotta think about it, because there's no economic benefit for Russia to do that at this time. There's no benefit for any of NATO to spend any money going against Russia. I mean, you're literally gonna get yourself into World War III, which it really, there's no point in it. There's really no point. And the media is blowing this out of proportion just to distract everybody from what they're doing behind the scenes, like you just said, because there's a lot more to do with what they're trying to do with COVID. They're trying to get everybody a fourth shot.
They're trying to crash the economy. They can't do it without having a war.
And exactly why are they trying to go to war with Russia? Just for distraction. It's honestly a distraction.
It's not. It's
So
not.
I
If Putin cared about economic sanctions, I think he would have stopped and not done all the stuff that he's been doing for the last 10 years. He's under 146
What has he
economic
done?
sanctions.
What has he done? Why is he being sanctioned?
Why is he being sanctioned?
What has he done? I've been alive 20 years. I haven't heard anything bad that he's done to America.
We're not talking about America here. We're talking about American allies, countries that are defending U.S. interests in the region.
Okay, so what has Putin done?
And their own sovereignty. Don't forget that they are defending themselves.
Crimea?
They don't wish to be sphered. The Ukrainians don't wish to be sphered by the Russians. They actually want to have their own decision on who spheres them.
Remember the Democrat playbook. When all goes wrong, blame Russia. They blame Russia for everything, even though Russia has done nothing wrong. They blame them for colluding with Trump.
Crimea was not wrong. Hold on. Crimea was not wrong.
The Democrats.
Crimea was
They're
not
literally
wrong.
parking tanks on a country that doesn't want them there.
Crimea was sold to the Russians by President Obama. Look it up.
Come on, bro. You keep going one-sided just like this guy has, and you're not saying anything.
You guys, this isn't a political issue here in this call. And honestly, everyone has their own political beliefs and their own political agenda, but that's not really what it's about. It's about the current situation. Just try to stick with the topic, now, if you can. And also just please try not to talk over each other. It becomes difficult to hear what the person who's speaking is saying when someone else chimes in at the same time. Then it just turns into gibberish.
I
Sorry
agree.
about that, Tara.
And hey, you guys, I have a question. How do you think that if Russia were to invade Ukraine, how do you think it would affect the United States stock market and specifically AMC, or would it?
Well, you'll have the initial stock market reaction from the big money that's going to use it to jump position to position and fix their terrible, terrible bags right now. The defense stocks will take a little pump, then they'll dump. Then it'll all turn out to be a nothing burger. and we'll go back to the same. I've put away a little amount of money in cash right now just for that. So your guys' situation. So if they do invade, you're going to see an initial stock market reaction, probably going down, and that's when I'm going to try to jump in and buy. And hopefully, we don't see any type of really violent conflict in Ukraine at all. I don't see any point to it. I just don't get it.
So
amen, bro. Me too.
Yeah, to your point, Spence. Like in February, March 2020, when the COVID was like brand new. It's right on the street, and the market tanked, man, like across the board. So that was when I was just sitting at home. I was like, I was teaching ROTC at a college here, and so we were just teaching classes from home. So it was awesome. So I'm doing research, and I'm looking at all these company stocks, and I'm looking at historical trends, where I thought they might come back to. And one of the companies I bought into at a good chunk was AMC. I was like, oh, I can see them getting back to around 30 something. So, and there was a bunch of other stocks that I bought. And yeah, man, I think it's a great idea that if there's that like knee jerk reaction that the market's going to have, like it did in the past, it's a great buying opportunity. How to, I'm sorry, the female PJ, I'm sorry, I can't see the rest of your name.
PJS. Yep.
Okay, cool. I don't know how that's going to affect AMC because I keep reading articles about negative beta, and then I read other articles that say negative beta is not what people think it is. And I was all excited at first. I was like, oh shit, negative beta, market crash. Because I thought, man, all of us apes, we're gonna cash in. It's gonna be awesome. We'll be financially free, all this great stuff. But I honestly, PJ, I don't know how that's gonna affect AMC. Hopefully not in a bad way. And just
I don't think it will affect I don't think that it will affect AMC in a bad way. I think I agree with what Spence said about maybe bringing the market down a couple of days. I don't think that there is any way to keep this stock market in a bear trend for any significant amount of time. I've been through a lot of AMC to the moon. Yeah, girl.
Yay, she finally said it.
I've been through a lot of this. I've been through a lot of this stuff, and yeah, maybe the bear market will last 8 months, 9 months, but we're in this for the long run at this point, right? And it's kind of, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but the last 2 months, I've been doing my trading, and I haven't even looked at the ticker. That's how sure I am of this trade. Something is going to happen, and it's going to affect us all. And it's not that we're going to be the 4 million losers, retail loser cult that lost all their money. That I can guarantee you is not going to be the thing that happens. So I don't really care, honestly, what happens with Russia. I mean, I care, of course. I don't want Russia to invade Ukraine. I want world peace. But whatever happens is only going to be for a few minutes, so to speak, and then we'll get right back to normal, depending on how bad it really is right now. So if we believe that, they were doing these reverse repos, everything we've been talking about that is leading up to this, that's a little funky. Like, that has my attention. But everything else, I think we're all good. And if Russia invades Ukraine, what can we do about it anyway? What can we do about it?
Start a GoFundMe.
Sorry for the interruption too. I was like, she finally agreed to say it, and then she hit the button and then just screamed it. So
all good, man. Kids are always first here. Hey, real quick, guys, if you've had an opportunity to kind of speak on this topic, there's 5 requests. If you're done, if you could drop down so we could bring some people up, just to rotate the room a little.
You could drop me off. I've got some things I got to do.
Yes, if you guys.
We can also rotate back up. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine. I mean, I think we're all on the same page here. But yeah, if you're done speaking, drop down. We can bring you back up, like what Tara just said. We do have 5 requests here, people wanting to come up and speak. So just want to let you know. And also follow your hosts and co-hosts and speakers here today, and tweet out the call. Thank you.
I just wanted to read something really quick that someone DM'd to me. Francis says, no one is talking about the Durham report, all eyes on Ukraine and Canada. So he just wanted to throw that out there, I guess, when I was saying, while this is kind of taking everyone's attention, there are going to be things that are happening behind the scenes that they don't want us paying attention to.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
As soon as the Durham report was announced, and the implications of it, from just the starting point of it, suddenly all that was in the news was Russia. So that's interesting.
Well, I mean, I don't. Am I next or?
Just go for it, bro.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that. You know what I mean? Some things are warranted. Some things have to be reported. You know what I mean? So I don't want people to walk away from this conversation thinking the news is all the way horrible. Yes, they do sensationalize certain things, and that's just their job. So we can grab clicks and stuff like that. But doesn't mean that everything is bad and everything is wrong. Doesn't mean where you get your resource. Nevertheless,
I disagree, Jeremiah. I don't think it's their job to focus on clicks. I think it's their job to focus on truthful reporting. And unfortunately, we've lost that because of clicks, because of popularity, because of wanting to be the first to break a story, whether it's wrong or right. And it drives a narrative, that's for sure. The mainstream media is controlled by money, and we know who controls the money. So therefore, they're controlling the narrative.
yeah. I mean, I'll say the 1%, but I mean, I'm just simply saying that all of it is not horrible, all of it is not lies. But I do agree it is controlled by money. People call in favors, and I've been in the car with buddies of mine that here in DC, they're in the cars and say, "Well, I want to make a donation for favorable coverage." You know what I mean? So I know how it works. Sorry about that, folks. However, I've heard so many different things. People talk about COVID, but anyway, make a long story short, I think this may be good. Like, I'm in crypto, I love crypto, and stocks and stuff like that. So I think this may be good. Like the gentleman said, chasing green candles is a bad thing. Chasing red candles is the best thing. And millionaires are made with red candles. But again, we have to see what happens. This happens every so many years. Same story. People back off. I mean, you see it with North Korea and stuff like that, promising they're going to do this and do that, and it didn't happen. So, I'm just staying focused and seeing what I can do, what I can make. God bless these people. I hope they're okay. I hope everybody joins NATO, and hopefully everybody live up to the word. So, that's my 2 cents, I guess. I'm not going to get too deep if everybody else got to say something, but I don't know. Can I ask you a question? Anybody that lives here in Canada, like, what is the protest about? I mean, is it about like wearing masks and vaccines? Like, what is the whole protest thing, and what is that doing? What do you guys think that's doing to the crypto market too, as well, or the stock market?
I think I don't know, but I think other people wanted to kind of speak on the Russian, Ukraine, and Biden speech, and then maybe we can kind of go into that topic as far as Canada and the situation there. But yeah, it does seem like they're done. Like, they're fed up with the government, implementing rules that they feel should be lifted, is kind of the gist of it from what I gather. But I think other people, like I said, are waiting. So maybe we can give them an opportunity. I don't even know the order. There are so many hands up, but Jen usually keeps track, and then come swing back around to that. If you can hang out, Jeremiah, in the call.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Yeah, we have Paul, Andrew, and Giovanni. And
I'm going to rotate. Sorry, Jen. I'm going to rotate Jeremiah, and then if you can come back up, and then we could get kind of onto that topic next.
Yeah, that's fine.
I just wanted to excuse myself. I have to get back to the real world, back to making estimates and whatnot. But as a former journalist, I like to tell you guys, the person who wrote my paycheck wasn't really my boss. It was the person who wrote his paycheck, and it was generally always advertisers. So always look beyond the lines when it comes to things like that. Have a wonderful Friday, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks, Gio.
You too. Thanks for coming up, Gio. Paul, what's going on, Paul?
Hey, gang, how you guys doing?
Great. How about yourself?
Good. I'm not going to talk about Canada unless you guys want me to later, but so up top, you'll see I posted a map of Ukraine. And when you look at it, you'll see sections in red and pink. And those are predominantly Russian, pro-Russian people who live in Ukraine. And I really feel that that's about the borderline. If they invade, is about as far as they're going to go. Now, I'm going to tell you in my honest opinion, this is not going to lead to World War III. Number one reason is they are not a NATO country. So there won't be any need to go to that length. Now, if they invade a NATO country, then it's a different story. But to me, that's about the line right there, where I think as far as Putin will go. So definitely not World War III. I think that will be the dividing line because they seem to be pro-Russian. It's Russian ethnic mostly there. And well, there's something else. So there's some history though with Ukraine, and it goes back to World War II actually. So in Russian history, during World War II, they lost over 20 million people to that war. And there was a lot of fighting in Ukraine, and I think you can check the numbers. I'm not 100% on this, but I think the Russians lost 10 million people fighting in that location. So from their point of view, because of the bloodshed, they owned it, and that's why they took it after World War II. They took it over, right? And so there's a lot of history there, a lot of conflict, a lot of blood that was shared in that area. And but that's basically all I really wanted to talk on that. I just think that if there's an invasion, that's where it is. It won't go any further than that. And I firmly believe we're not going to have a World War III. I don't think you need to worry about that, guys. It only will happen if it hits a NATO country. The markets, yeah, they're reacting now on every statement. I'm sorry, go ahead, Tara.
Maybe Russia could be invading Ukraine to prevent them from joining NATO. Could that be a possibility?
Well, that's the whole reason they're there.
Yes, that is their number one dispute. While Russia's number one dispute is that they're surrounded by NATO countries, and the tensions regarding that, and they've always wanted things to be pushed back and further away from their borders. You can look at the it wasn't the Bay of Pigs, but when it was the nuclear crisis of 1960 under JFK in Cuba, there was a lot of issues that happened with that, and the end result was they pulled their missiles out of Cuba, but the United States pulled their missiles out of Turkey. That was negotiated, I think, under the table. Now, I don't know what happened later in the future regarding that. So their whole fear has always been, you're too close to our borders, you're too close to our borders. But from a NATO's point of view and Cold War point of view, we're not moving, right? Because we don't want you to take over the rest of the world. I mean, I hate that it's this type of politics we have to live in. I've been living in it for a very long time. And but when it comes to Ukraine, this is just my thoughts. I don't think they're going any further than that. I think that's part of why they took Crimea. And there was always been contentions with pro-Russian or Russian-speaking people who view Russia as their homeland and not the Ukraine or the West. So that's really all I have to say on it.
Yeah, this is Andrew. Go ahead, Spence.
And real quick, just on the media, man, I'm on CNBC right now. I think Mark calls them the Cartoon Network. Breaking. This is their headline. Breaking. Biden believes Putin has decided to attack Ukraine in coming days. Just the wording of that is, it's just to instill fear into everybody.
Crazy. Exactly.
Attacking, invading. Biden never said in his, unless I'm wrong and I misheard it, he never said Russia's going to attack Ukraine. He never used the word attack. I do not believe he did.
Yeah, it goes back to, I think, when you know, Biden was doing a lot of dirty business in Ukraine when he was vice president. And if you go back to that and go back to Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, ran on stopping corruption in Ukraine. So what I think is going on is Biden is abandoning Ukraine because all his dealings that he was doing over there got uncovered. That's why they did that whole Trump impeachment thing, because Trump was telling Zelensky, hey, look into Biden, right? Now Zelensky actually did that, and he doesn't want to do business with Biden. So now Biden is taking everybody out of Ukraine. He's basically stabbing them in the back, saying, hey, you guys don't want to do business with me no more? Okay, I'm going to take away everything from you guys now. And now, instead of saying that, Biden is saying, hey, Russia's going to invade. Russia's going to invade. Think about that, because that's exactly what's going on. You can see it through the smoke and mirrors that the media is trying to push. And, I mean, it goes back to all the dirty business dealings. It really does.
So
And
you
now
think he's gonna?
that,
You
and
think
now that
he's
the
going?
Durham report came out, they're ramping it up because the Durham report is gonna lay all this out, and they know it because they got the information. They're in the government. So I mean, if you're not thinking that way, I don't know. And if you really think Biden's running things, he's really not.
So you think he's
That's
gonna
just
double cross them
conspiracy stuff, man. Come on.
like Trump did, like the Kurds, or what?
Well, yeah, because he has no use for them now. He has no use for Ukraine now. I mean, why,
That you're just making
why would he stay
suppositions
there?
out of
Speculation,
nothing.
bro. It's all
Pure
speculation, man.
speculation. Pure speculation. Just pulling up random stuff. But I was next after Paul. Everything Paul said was spot on. But yeah, I wrote some things down. So it's on YouTube. In 2016, Jeff Zucker, Harvard alum, was at Harvard at the Institute of Politics Forum, and I asked him this question because I don't know, you should sign up for like the Wall Street Journal. That's my favorite news outlet. Like, they are middle of the line. Their headline right now, Wall Street Journal exclusive, invading is I think they're reporting on it, but yeah, the Biden administration. I'm like, if Russia doesn't invade Ukraine by the end of February, I'm just like, that's it. It's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but anyways, back to Jeff Zucker, CEO of CNN. I asked him in 2016, right before the election, what's the difference between like news and journalism of integrity and just entertainment? And then it's on YouTube, about 2 minutes of just nonstop beating around the bush. I should have been more assertive with my question and more stern with him. And then he was like, yeah, you know, the public, they want to have engaging coverage of news. So basically he said sensationalism and entertainment in so many words. But so there's that. So I don't like CNN. I turn it on like maybe when I have to. As you know from Fox News and CNN, if something is sensationalist, they will just run it over and over and over again. And yeah, so that's why I just read the news, read the Wall Street Journal. That's my favorite. But so I took a national security course in the spring before graduating. I was the U.S. ambassador to NATO. My professor, who played the president in the class, chose me because I grew up in Rome, and a lot of my friends were CIA station chiefs, their parents, or the military attaché, and so on and so forth. So Article 5 is a lot of what we're talking about. And Article 5 states that if a member of NATO is attacked, all members must come to that nation's aid. So I've been trying to look up and see if there are any NATO troops in Ukraine. It would be pretty stupid to have them there, because if like one Lithuanian NATO soldier gets killed, in theory, Article 5 has to be enforced. And if Article 5 is not enforced, NATO is rendered pointless. It is a useful or useless organization. And also, you have to think about the Monroe Doctrine, which Paul was talking about a little bit with the Cuban Missile Crisis. So the Monroe Doctrine dates back to James Monroe, the president, and he basically said there were colonial empires that were messing around in the Western Hemisphere, in South America, and so on. I think it was Spain, I want to say, at the time. And so Monroe put his foot down and he said, this is our sphere of influence. If you come in here, like you cannot come into our sphere of influence. And so that's why the Cuban Missile Crisis happened. Think about if Russia had troops in Venezuela or in Cuba. Let's say that Venezuela, for instance, and slowly went up through Central America all the way till Mexico. We wouldn't even let we wouldn't let Putin put troops in Argentina, let alone like in Mexico. So Putin is surrounded, and if you're surrounded as an individual, as a human being, at some point you have to like fight back, whether you're a mouse fighting against a lion or something like that. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention is that Russia is the second largest exporter of oil in the entire world. So the number one exporter ahead of Saudi Arabia and OPEC. So anything that happens with Russia is potentially going to affect markets and oil prices. And in 2008, what really made it so that we got into the financial crisis kind of being revealed, and I know some other folks want to talk, so I'll sum it up. But yeah, so in 2008, what really kind of set off the financial crisis that was just waiting there to happen was the rising oil prices, and then the cause of potential inflation. So the Fed raised interest rates, and then all of these people with their adjustable rate mortgages, it was revealed that all of these trash loans were there and everything. So my point is that with oil prices and instability, geopolitical instability, oil prices, natural resources, and things like that, we already have enough inflation as is. But if there is some sort of disruption, whether it's through sanctions or military action to oil markets, that is something that will really exacerbate our already tense situation where the Fed can't really even do much.
Well, you see what it forces them to do, right?
It forces who to do? What was that?
You see what it forces President Biden to do, right?
Yeah,
he's going to have to go back on his statements of not drilling and pipeline cancellations. We're going to have to start production back up.
Yeah,
I'd like to talk to a couple points that Andrew made up, if that's all right. So, your one point about the NATO, and
just
if
keep in mind, Paul, that we have a lot of people waiting with their hands up too.
It won't be long, Tara. So the part where you said about NATO, if there was one NATO member in Ukraine, if they were attacked, that might happen. I don't know, but I do know that they started pulling out all their military advisors, so you could be correct on that. And the other thing about the energy and the oil, you're correct about that. But it's also the natural gas that that feeds Europe too.
Absolutely, Nord Stream 2.
Right. So there's a big play of energy in Europe, and so this could escalate to much bigger, and that's why I don't think you'll see it any more than that half of Ukraine gets taken over. Okay, I'm going to step down. If you want me to come up, I will.
One more final thing I wanted to say about that is, so my friend's father was the U.S. ambassador to Georgia. With Georgia in 2008, they were invaded by Russia, similar to what was done with Ukraine and Crimea, where there were little green men. It was Putin's first test of affecting things in terms of cyber attacks and all of that. So if Putin really wanted to invade, he would have done it, I think, by now. He just wants, just like any person with their castle, to not have people at their front door with that they don't trust or respect. So I think that he wants like, get the fuck out of my backyard kind of thing. So that's where I think he kind of stands, and he just wants that. And logically so, I don't think he's an irrational leader and everything. He wants to survive and just have people out of his sphere of influence, and we should divert our attention to China and NATO do that as well. So yeah, so those are my thoughts for now, and this is a pretty awesome conversation, and I'm glad I got to make it up on stage. So just kind of listen to folks for a little bit.
Thanks, man.
Hey guys, yeah, it's very interesting to hear. I'm obviously just a spectator. I do believe that whoever said that thing about the Wall Street Journal thing, I think that's a load of bollocks, man. we have the BBC in the UK where I'm from, and everyone thinks they're all prim and proper, and they're all, they're neutral and they don't judge, and it's like, that's bullshit, bro. They were protecting Savile, and if you know Jimmy Savile is, you know how deep those roots go. There's no such thing as real journalism right now. Like, I mean,
well, when did you cancel your Wall Street Journal subscription?
I've never had a subscription because I
thought
don't
so.
I don't trust anyone who tries to claim that they're neutral, because how can you be neutral?
They don't claim it. I just based off of their coverage and their wording and sensationalist headlines and things like that versus like what I've seen from the New York Times, which
You
has
could
really
probably base it off of who signs their paycheck, Andrew, instead.
So I would say the subscribers do, but of course they do have advertising as well, but they are a subscription-based service as opposed to CNN and Fox are purely based off of ads entirely. So that's why you see like massive font and sensationalist headlines. And then Wall Street Journal, not as much, very neutral, boring adjectives and things like that. But of course they do have exclusives, like the one that says Biden says that they are intent to invade within the next few days, but that's an exclusive where they interviewed somebody and then that's what was reported, and that's what they need to do is pass on that information, whether or not that Biden administration official is sensationalizing things. But I'm like, if Ukraine doesn't get invaded by the end of the month, I'm like, dude, you just have no more credibility. And I feel like it's been like that for a couple of weeks with me. I'm like, dude, I don't want them.
I feel like I can just watch Twitter, and you just look at Twitter and you can see how they're like, every new tweet that they're trying to do about Ukraine is like a little bit more dangerous, and it just wants to put that little bit more fear into you. Like it's trending right now. It says explosions in eastern Ukraine prompt increased global tensions. Where it's like, you sound like a cheerleader, man. Come and talk to us when you actually have something sensible to say.
That's the Journal Twitter? I just want to find it.
That's on Twitter. It's trending right now.
Oh yeah, was that the Wall Street Journal account? I just want to find the tweet you're talking about.
No, it's just on Twitter. I don't know who. It's one of the top trending things on Twitter. It just says world news.
I think, guys, on the basis of what we normally talk about the stock market, the impacts I see happening is Putin decides to invade. I don't think there will be much of a conflict if he does. The U.S. has already stated that we're only going to protect NATO territories but continue to financially aid Ukraine, which in that just gives Putin more access to money and equipment. If they do, you see a bit of an energy crunch. Things are going to change like they always do globally. The market will probably take a dip and you'll see defense stocks spike based on speculation. I've set aside some cash specifically for that situation. If it doesn't happen, whatever. If he doesn't invade, like Andrew said, if he doesn't do it within the next, by the end of February, I think the credibility is probably gone. I agree with that. So it's this.
Yeah. The Wall Street Journal exclusive says U.S. warns of imminent Russia invasion of Ukraine with tanks, jets, and cyber attacks. So that is Wall Street Journal news exclusive. U.S. officials have said this. Whether or not it's true, it is true that U.S. officials have said that, and that reporting is accurate and necessary from a reputable stock.
I don't believe that one bit. Honestly, the Wall Street Journal is not a reliable source of news. I mean, you could take it as so, like,
you
that
don't
you're
even
believing.
read it. How do you know?
Because they did a lot of false reporting on the whole Russia collusion thing, and that turned out not good.
If
So can I just throw my 2 cents in here for a second?
Yes.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
We shouldn't go back and forth about mainstream media. We should pick our alt news, whatever it is, left, right, center, and stick to that. Because in the past 5 years, I have seen things go down before my eyes that were reported in such a way that had nothing to do with what I was involved with or how it happened. So that being said, everything, I don't trust any mainstream media. So let's not argue about that. Let's focus on how Russia is, in my opinion, and this could be a tinfoil hat thing, maybe, I don't know. How do we know that Putin is not ponying up to make, I mean, look, Biden's got a 33% approval rate right now, or less. How do we know that Putin is not ponying up and spending all this money to make Biden look like a fool when he doesn't invade? I mean, anything, we don't know anything at this point, and we know nothing until it happens. So no sense in going back and forth. I mean, I've been reading the Wall Street Journal for 30 years. 30 years ago, it was an awesome paper. Now, not so much. And I feel the same way about the New York Post, about the New York Times, about the
Cartoon Network.
Washington Post. None of it is good anymore.
What did
None
you
of
say?
it.
Cartoon Network?
He did.
Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Cartoon Network.
Mark,
Maybe kind of.
Mark, who's the Cartoon Network?
Yeah, so let's not waste our breath about that. Life is too short. They're a bunch of idiots. I mean, seriously, are you going to believe? You don't believe Fox News? I mean, you don't believe what's his face over there? What's his name? Gasparino. Why would you believe anyone else? Why would you believe the Wall Street Journal, owned by the hedge funds?
Exactly.
I don't believe. Yeah,
and PJ's not saying not to read it. That's not what we're trying to say. Yeah, read different, media stuff, whatever. Just maybe take some of it with a grain of salt, or it's not worth debating over right now. I feel like.
Hey guys,
I read it all, and then I read Zero Hedge, and I get the real story.
There you go. On that, I got 6 minutes until I have to go see Uncharted. So if you guys want to get to the last hand, and then the panel, if you got any closeout statements.
Yeah, so what I kind of wanted to say before I got into that little thing was basically, it could also be to do with the Bitcoin and the cryptos, because I noticed when Ukraine had their power outages, when the government went all crazy, Bitcoin dropped, and I was told that it was because they had some miners there, and when the power went down, obviously they weren't able to mine. So could it have something to do with that as well? Because they're really trying to crack down on this crypto.
Yeah, absolutely. The crypto is exploding all over the world, especially after all the Super Bowl ads and stuff. And then not to mention that you got blockchain exchanges being approved. The global financial power structure is about to change significantly with blockchain exchanges, and the surge in crypto. People, celebrities want crypto payments. Celebrities want to do NFTs. Politicians are accepting crypto payments now. So it's coming, and it's an unstoppable train. So I see a lot of legacy politicians panicking over how this new financial power structure is going to work. I think Tara got rug pulled again. FFSXX. What's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? Pardon my voice. I'm just getting over COVID. Yippee. Andrew kind of took all my points I was going to make. So all I'll say is that just to PJ's point about looking at alternative news sources and stuff, I think that's super important. But it's also really important to make sure that when you're doing that, you don't just give yourself confirmation bias and keep feeding the algorithm to give you the same shit you already agree with, because it just sort of it could solidify some wrong thinking. So I just wanted to
differential.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
The other thing I wanted to say was that Biden has like a 30% approval rating or something right now, or 35%, and I don't know. To me, a lot of this just feels like domestic politics, sort of waving the shiny object, distracting everybody from a poorly performing administration. Whether you're a Republican, Democrat, whatever, I think everybody can agree that it's not going well. So I'll just that's all I'll say. All the Russiagate stuff, and Russiagate, all the Putin invasion and stuff. That stuff goes back to World War II. Patton wanted to keep going east and break the alliance with Russia and invade Moscow, and Eisenhower wouldn't let him for political reasons. So it's all just the same story over and over and over again. Anyway, that's all I'll say. Thanks, guys.
Did you know that Putin actually asked to join NATO shortly after being elected? And it was, I forget the name, Robertson, who was the commander or whatever of NATO, was like, oh, yeah, you got to get in line with the other countries. And then Putin was like, oh, I'm not like a shithole nation, basically. He said the equivalent of something like that. Yeah, I wish we gave him some sort of opportunity to join and become part of the West like he wanted to.
I think in
But now
hindsight that should have happened. I think you're absolutely right. And I think
now it's
right
like
now
put some
Putin's
blood,
got it in his bonnet to put together the old Soviet Union again, and he doesn't want Ukraine joining NATO, and it's a whole layer and sphere of influence that none of us are privy to, and all we can do is speculate. But yeah, Andrew, like spot on.
What do you so I just have a Twitter space question. You know how there was like the 100 symbol? I have like this purple heart and stuff, which I don't.
Yeah, what happened to the 100? I like
Twitter
that
I
screwed
was
us
rejected
all.
from the military, so I scored 96th percentile on the ASVAB military SAT, but I don't deserve a purple heart at all.
Yeah, that everybody
Oh, you're right. I didn't
when
think about that. I'll change it
Spaces
to green.
You can change the heart color, by the way.
When Spaces posted their tweet today, the backlash they got for taking the 100 away was massive, and I tweeted at them. I said, "Did you guys do any market research for your user base before you just changed everything?" But they still make it to where when I hit the icon buttons, it puts it right over top of my mute button. Like they couldn't just kick that up like a millimeter, you know? So maybe this is why ARK Invest is selling Twitter off left and right. Who knows? I don't know.
Did we actually get through all of the hands up here?
I think we did. Wow.
I just want to say, guys, thank you so much, Spence. I know you have places to be and people to see, but thank you for putting this on. Thank you, Jen, for helping always. Next Tuesday, I want to formally invite you all to come Tuesday evening. It'll be 8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock on the West Coast. Sorry, guys, I'm out for a run right now. And I hope you all get outside and do something for yourselves today. But next Tuesday evening, I'll be having Lisa from the SEC on a call like this where we can discuss, the SEC and what they're all about and rule changes and stuff like that. So it should be a good opportunity to, have a Q&A with her. And I want our ladies up there, Jen, PJ, if you can be there, I would be honored. Yay!
What time is
That's
that again?
awesome, Tara. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tara. I'm excited.
That'll be 8 o'clock. Yes, it'll be awesome. Sorry,
8
shameless plug.
p.m. Eastern.
Spence. Yeah, 8 Eastern time, so 5 o'clock. I'll put out a tweet right now, just with the set the reminder kind of thing or whatever. So I'll do that now, and then hopefully we can tweet it out, retweet it, or whatever, and get a lot of people there to hopefully have their questions answered from Lisa. But thank you again, Spence. Today was a wonderful call. Good job moderating and keeping it on track and not going too far off on political. It's easy to get caught up and we all have our passions, but it's also really nice if we can be quiet and listen to other people's perspectives and learn from others. And kind of end on the same page. So I just want to say I appreciate all of the speakers who are able to do that, keep it classy. You guys, I commend you all and appreciate you guys for coming up and sharing your voices here.
Guys, great call today, gang. Thank you so much for letting me co-host again, Spence. I love you all. Good night, and let's fucking go. AMC the fucking movie.